I've just been building bridges with our postie Eddie. I'm not too sure how. I managed to upset him. We went from really chatty to one-word answers, and you need to keep your postie on side.
Does he listen to the podcast?
Well, I used all of my journalist experience over the past 5 years to engage in conversation, just to try and break the ice, see if we could be friends again. I didn't realise this, but because he was still rocking his shorts, we're in October now, so I was like, oh, how long are you going to wear your shorts for? And he's like, well, I've just had a new delivery of shorts. And then we started to talk about the Royal Mail purchasing website where you can buy all of his clothes. Scintillating conversation on the doorstep this morning. I think I did see him. You know when you see somebody out of context? So I was running, he was working, but he wasn't where I'd normally see him. And he waved at me, and I remembered who it was too late.
So how long has he held this grudge for?
About a week.
Oh, okay. So this is not, because we talked about Romeo and Juliet earlier, this isn't long-term family feud. This is...
Yeah, but before we'd have a little bit of chat, you know, what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And then lately it's just been handing over the post, 180, and off he goes. I think I've warmed him up.
Yeah, you can warm up anyone, Gary.
Hello and welcome to the Tea and Trails podcast, and thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
Kudos, high fives and big hugs to all our patrons and everybody who's joined Patreon over the past week. For the price of a cuppa, you can help keep the lights hot and the mics on and save big time and all your trail running essentials. Loads of brands offering great discounts over on Patreon. I'm beavering away. I can't share it just yet.
Beaver, beaver. That's what I always say when the kids are doing their homework, and then I have a little snortle. Beaver, beaver in here.
Beavering away. Possibly a new Patreon perk coming soon.
Always got your chunky teeth on a bit of wood. I use my sports shoes discount code.
Shocking. Straight away, Eddie. I can't believe it.
I didn't even get it, but now also I have an image of you. Yeah.
Don't forget, if you would like a snood or a bubble hat, you need to add your address to Patreon. No address, no goodies. Also join Patreon for a year and you will save 10% on your membership. And if you join the Legend tier or above, we will send you a bubble hat too. Also, you can gift Patreon. So if you have a Tea and Trails fan in your life, and spread the love and treat them to the ultimate podcast gift.
I saw that you have to book your Christmas shop slot now, Gary. The Christmas shop. So just like if you want to buy your Patreon Christmas slots, by the time he's sent those bubble hats, it'll be, before you know it, Santa will be knocking on the door. You're going to book your Christmas? I was like, shall I do that? I've never done that before, to be super organised. I book my food delivery. The minute it arrives, I book my next slot and then I just add to the list. If you're training, Gary, and you've got a job and a family and you're busy, whatever, life is busy, going to the supermarket or co-op is actually one of my worst nightmares. I would actually cry in the car if Bryn said you need to do the full food shop. I'd be like, I actually can't. I think
I prefer physical shopping than online shopping.
Oh, just that extra steps. That is energy I do not have. Then you put it in the trolley and then you go back out and then you check it out. And you've got to lift the bags out and then you've got to put it in your car and then you've got to draw it. Like, you just get nice Len and he just comes and brings, he's always late and he always says to me, yeah, van broke down. And I play along every week.
He's not so precious with your bananas and your apples, was he?
Couldn't care less. I couldn't care less. You just chuck it all on my table. And he always says, do you want some help? And I say, yeah, come on in.
Does he come in?
Chuck it all down.
We don't let
Chuck
him
it all
pass the
down.
threshold.
Sometimes he does. So it depends on his mood, to be honest. And also how far away I've shut the dogs because they like to get in the van.
So what's your etiquette? Sorry, I need to know more details. So when the shopper guy comes to our house, if I'm doing it, if I'm in on my own, everything will go on the carpet.
Oh my God. No,
everything goes on the carpet.
No.
Then I'll like portion it off and then take it to the kitchen. If Lisa's in doing it, we have all the different bags and they all go in the bags.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that. He normally brings the two of the blue trolley crates down. This is Tesco's. Two of the crates down to the front door because we've got some little steps down to our front door. And I look as he's walking to go, how heavy is that? Because I don't want to take it and then fail. Then there's a race. He's got to go back to the van and get the next two. And I've got to unpack those onto the table. I wouldn't go on the floor. That is creating too much level split strength work there. I've got to unpack them on the kitchen table and bring them back before he's approached the door again.
Sometimes we have them waiting there, tapping his foot.
Okay, come around my house.
Who's
next
at
shop
fault?
Delivery.
So if Len slips over on your steps, what happens then?
Yeah.
Is it your fault or Tesco's fault?
I don't know, but I would definitely tell him to sit down. Then I'd go in the van and see what better treats someone else had ordered, and I'd nick those
Full fat
dairy milk, chocolate buttons. Anyway, so grateful for food delivery because we didn't have that in France. I know people will be rolling their eyes saying, Eddie, you have it so easy, but so amazing. Whoever thought of, I know what we're going to do. We're going to deliver food to people's houses. It is brilliant, and I can't thank Len enough. I don't know what his name is. I just called him. Thank you to X Miles for Simple Hydration, Harrier Trail Running, Phoenix Light UK, and Protein Rebel for sponsoring this week's show. X Miles is a family-owned, independent endurance sports retailer that provides nutritional goods, apparel, and accessories to help athletes perform and recover at their best. It's the perfect place for the one-shop stop, whether you're a seasoned athlete or just getting started. Listeners can get 10% store credit at www.xmiles.co.uk or via the link in the show notes. Thank you to Yugoku Projects for producing the Tea and Trails cap. Pop over to Yugoku Projects if you like one, and don't forget Patreons, you can get yours for 20% off. All the discount codes are over on Patreon or teaandtrails.com, or even check out the show notes.
I thought I'd do
I like
orange,
that.
an orange.
Yeah.
Incredible attention to detail.
Do you know you have a podcast voice, Gary? So when we talk before the podcast, you talk just like a normal person. And then when we start recording, you go into this like quite a deeper...
I think everybody's a slightly polished, maybe exaggerated version of themselves when they do a podcast or a TV show.
I think this is
like
Eddie dumbed down.
I like to bring a bit more gravitas, if possible.
Oh, you bring the gravitas and then you edit me out because you go, Eddie. Phil, we're recording late this week. I was like, I don't feel like I've touched you. So what have you been doing?
I had a very pleasant week. Solo miles, catching up with fellow Harriers and a race too. I jumped-ish back on the training plan. Albanaf definitely didn't say do a race. But team Sedgefield Harriers needed me. It didn't, actually, in theory. They had plenty of runners. But I did score for the team. So, yeah, still got it, Eddie.
You scored. You have still got it.
Yeah, I think I was fourth across the line, but I will share a bit more about that later. But yeah, incredible day up at Drew Ridge. I did a midweek dreamy coastal loop, full Northern Traverse kit. I'm honestly, like when you said about, I don't want to talk about this yet, and I'm thinking we are in October and I'm fully in the trenches with Northern Traverse. I love it though. I did pace, nutrition tests, so I'm trying to get more calories, real food. So I'll have a cereal bar, which is kind of, I suppose, dominated with protein. So what I found over the duration of the maybe 2.5, 3 hours, I was flagging a bit towards the end. And I think if I'm honest, I need to look at somebody like Fiona Horsfield. She crushed the Northern Traverse last year. So that pacing strategy, she never, as far as I'm aware, never had like a big fall off towards the end. This is the craziness of the ultra run. Even the cruisiest, easiest of training runs doesn't play out on the big days. Yeah, take away from that run, body felt fine, pace felt easy, but I think I might have been on tops 40 grams of carb an hour, and it just wasn't enough.
Catch up with you. It makes the end of the run not very enjoyable, isn't it?
Yeah. But high calories, so it's flip. Carbohydrates were low, but then when you're having these seedy nut cereal bars,
that's a lot of digestion. I think you want to go more simple.
Well, this is why we tested it all out.
Yeah.
But I know it's only like a 2.5 hour run, but I didn't get any flavour fatigue or anything like that. I actually quite enjoyed eating them and looking forward to them. I think I maxed my heart rate out 120 beats a minute. So that is pretty low. Like this was a 15, 16 mile run. Trying to visualise a 180 odd mile run. Even that, it's going too fast. So
I think it might help you if you split it up into chunks as well, because it's a really easy race to split up into chunks. They even do it on the map for you when you get your map of it, of like the different colour coded, so each one is an individual race, and so each one will be run quite differently as well. Each one requires a little different skill set and different tool. You've got 2 Ennerdale, which is running, so 20k you start worth of running.
Did you run straight out of St Bees though? Because that's quite a spicy climb.
I think we ran the whole way.
So on paper
Ennerdale.
though, you probably shouldn't do that, but yeah, everybody will.
Yeah, everybody will. So you got 20k worth of running to start, and then you get around Ennerdale, which is a bit rocky, so you kind of like just teeter around the edge, and then you've got some more fire track, and then you hike basically. You've got pretty much, I can't remember I'm pretty sure the climbs are about like 45 minutes to an hour. I'll have to have a look back. Yeah. And then you've got 3 or 4 of those, and so that's a different heart rate as well. You might find actually you're working a little bit harder on the climb, and then all the descents are relatively like easy easy to tap down, apart from Kirsty Pike's a bit technical at the top. And then there's little bits of running in between. And then you've got the horrible 6 miles to Shap off Kirsty. And so you break it all down, and then you've got Shap to Kirby Stephen. Again, that's nearly all, depending on the time of day that you get there. It's quite sloppy. It requires quite a lot of strength, but it is runnable again. So you're going from like lots of different things that you can bring. So your heart rate won't always be in that, like, so don't think, oh, I only need to train my long run in that like super low zone.
I'm not convinced already on your 12-litre vest. I know we mentioned it.
Okay. All right. This is live, listeners.
Oh, you've set me off. Get out. It's out. Yeah. It's empty though, isn't it?
It's full.
That is full of your kit.
My 12-litre kit. Okay, so I got up the kit list and I packed it up because I'm so fed up of you whining at me. Before you come at me, there are 2 things missing, which I can't find. I think I must have left them on a table at Race Across Scotland. My collapsible bowl. So on the cold winter list, I don't have a spare synthetic warm top. That would need to go in there. But there is plenty. I could definitely fit that in. But here's this bad podcast, but just because I'm fed up with him saying it wouldn't all fit in, I've actually got more because I've got my battery pack in here as well. And I've got 2 head torches and a spare battery. I've also got a empty bottle. I've got a map. I didn't have the map of Northern Traverse, so I just made sure. So this is everything, including the cold weather kit.
But every 12-litre bag mustn't be equal, because my 12-litre bag
what 12-litre bag are you using?
I've got tons of them. Whichever one I try, it doesn't fit in.
So the Salomon 12-litre, as I always say, I don't believe, but because it's got these drawstrings bits on the side, it honestly looks like my Montaigne 30-litre by the time that I filled it, and it's not that heavy, and most of this kit I'm going to have on anyway. Now, what there isn't a ton of room in the back for then, if I had to put another top in, it's still got quite a lot of room in the top, and in this is such a good pouch, because what I put in that pouch, if I was just having a jacket on and off, I would just stop and put it in that really quickly. Bits also, I probably put my bowl and my cup in there, because again, the faff, or if somebody's standing with and is going to offer everybody a flask of tea at some point, some nice mountain rescue person or something. And then I'd use the front for all my food and my fuel, but I would also have a belt on. I think you need a belt anyway. So you can do it. You can do it in a 12-litre. I would definitely use that 12-litre because I want to be able to run. So I will also be very mindful of my weight. I'm not there to compete. I'm not there. Whoopsie, that's a Freudian slip. I'm there to compete. I'm not there to complete. And I'm going to talk about that in my little catch up later as well, though. If there's running to be had, that's my strength. I'm not ashamed to say I'm not very good at other stuff, but I am good at the running bit. So that's the bit that I want to be running.
Good,
so I don't want to be carrying.
I like it.
I just Eddie backs Eddie. Somebody has to. So I don't want to be carrying so much weight that I can't run.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think
so there we go.
A bit more of a journey with my old backpacks.
For sure. But remember, I started this journey into these long stuff, like I've done enough pack work and pack management with heavy packs to know what I like. So you need to play around a lot as well. But don't diss my 12-litre, all right? It's had enough of it. He said, I've had enough of you. Freight's coming for me. You were like, no, you'll never get it in there, Eddie. And I'll say, if you push hard enough.
anything will go in, yeah. I just want to know which pack I'm using, and then I want to name it.
You can make friends with it.
Little buddy.
Yeah, but everybody you have to go through your journey to find your pack. It's just like your future missus.
2 strength sessions this week, but only did it at home. I am finding friction down the gym. I'm doing the stepper down the gym, and that takes me the best part of an hour.
It's so hard. Yeah. I get that. So do you know what? Do your stepper and then just do some heavy squats. 3 lots of 10 heavy squats. And in between the 10 while you wait, then just do some arm. And that's what you need to do. So just do because it's that heavy stuff that you don't do that will really, honestly, when you're going up and down the Lordstones bit, do you remember my pole broke? And I was like, if I hadn't done all those squats, I was still powering my legs like that.
Well, I'm giving myself grace. It's not gold star, but what I'm doing, I'm kind of satisfied with it. Enough to the point, I'm not too sure if it's because I'm out of shape or I actually had a good solid workout, but my hamstrings and back were aching big time. I did 2 sessions with Daniel from Fitness Blender. One was the Brew Labs and one was a lower body workout. And after the lower body workout, my legs felt heavy all week. So I think it probably is more the fact that I've not really done much strength work. But either way, I definitely knew I had a workout. And then this also plays into training where it's quite easy to think more is better.
More is better, Gary. More, you need to do more.
If cross country was on Saturday, I wouldn't have fared as well as I did because I definitely needed that extra bit of time for recovery. Oh, Saturday I did Usha Moor. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, even though it is just down the road from me. Usha Moor Gardens Park Run. There was myself, Dave from Harriers, Ray from Harriers, and Jane. Yeah, just fun times running around a nice little park just outside of Durham. Cup of tea to end it too. Juge Bay, 460 pumped up. It's a big field. I think the North East Harrier League is probably the most popular league cross country in the country. Someone's going to come up me and totally correct me there. But I saw Jarlath, friend of the show, winner of the inaugural and probably only Tea and Trails. Ultra, yeah, we shared a moment in the queue for the toilets.
Did you? Just your eyes meet across the Portaloo queue?
Our soggy hands.
I know you from somewhere.
The fast pack runners get roughly a 5-minute handicap on the slow. It's really harsh. There's no like everybody gets a medal. It's fast, medium, slow. So Jarlath starts about 5 minutes behind I do.
Don't you think that's a bit of a incentive though? Because if I was starting 5 minutes behind you, but I was decent enough runner that I could catch you, it's a bit like the greyhound racing and something.
Yeah. Oh, you're totally chasing
I'd be
people
like,
down.
I'd be after you.
Well, I loved it for the very, very brief moment when I made it into the medium pack. It was awesome chasing people down. So he made up that 5 minutes just after the first lap. Yeah. Smoking fast. Really impressive just to see, not just Jarlath, any of those fast pack runners towards the front or end of the race. Yeah, it's really impressive. But starting anxiety is real. I think even though I've done hundreds. I thought earlier when I was walking the dog, have I done thousands of races? I don't think I've done thousands of races, but I've definitely done hundreds of races. And I'm in that starting pen, squashed in like sardines, thinking about all the lovely trails where I could be jogging on that Sunday. Sick to the stomach. But then it's just amazing. Like the gun goes off, you are now fighting fires. Anyone who's done cross country or even a 5K or a 10K, you go from 0 to 100 in a couple of seconds. There's snot, there's like slava all over the place, but you're completely present. And in that moment, you were just doing exactly what you love. And I think every time, all that anxiety, all that doubt, but as soon as you doing it and have done it, you wonder why am I so nervous every time? It never the emotions never change. I don't know if I'm selling it or not, but definitely do cross country. But super happy to score for the team. I am a senior male,
Citizen.
52-year-old, yeah, senior citizen. I got a course PB. I've done Druge Bay 3 or 4 times, but yeah, I'll take it. So basically, yeah, I did my long run. I did a workout and a couple of strength sessions too, and the body is feeling okay. And I don't know if you've noticed it, your colours will probably be very similar to mine at the moment. Running in the autumn, it's just absolutely sensational. If you manage to get out in the golden hour, is it like kind of 5 o'clock? The colours, like we've got lots of berries where we live and the leaves, as the sun's coming down, it just kind of like illuminates all of the surroundings. It's such a treat. It's such a treat to be out there at the moment. Oh, bless, we had one horrible storm, Amy, but other than that, we've had a lovely. She was a bitch.
2 weeks till the clocks go. Was it spring forward, leap back? Yeah, I got 2 more.
So
weeks
enjoy
it.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it, everybody.
How are you with house spiders?
What is a house spider?
I suppose it could be any spider, but it lives in your house. Can you guess how long a house spider lives? Do you are you scared of spiders?
No, not scared of spiders. If there's one in my room, I'll get rid of it.
How do you get rid of it?
I'll just pick it up, or if it's one of the really long ones, I'll get a bit of tissue paper and pick it up in that and chuck it out the window.
Oh, not the window, my goodness. Mate.
Why is it going to come back and knock on the window?
You're supposed to put it near a shed, or your shed that's blown down. Put it near there, or bushes somewhere where it's got a bit of protection somewhere for it to go. If you leave it out in the open, Mr. Magpie might come down and take it. They live, if your house is in ideal conditions, they can live up to 3 years in your house. If you're going to chuck them out, please be careful. Have you ever think called the brick?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've got one on my fridge. I use it every day, Gary. I use it
for your phone?
Every day. Yep.
Oh my God, I just bought one.
I use it every day.
Which apps do you turn off?
Instagram, Facebook. Those are the only 2.
YouTube?
I'm not a teenager.
I nearly bought a burner phone. Basically, I suppose I've been super distracted at times when I shouldn't be distracted, maybe when I'm with my children, my family, hemorrhaging time. And I looked at my screen time. I'm not going to share it because it was quite embarrassing.
Oh, go and share it.
Hours and hours and hours. It might have been 5 hours a day.
But is that like listening to podcasts? Because
that's interesting. I'm not too sure if it is that. I think, it's just when your screen is probably being used. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Anyway, it was not serving me well. So I bought this brick.
No.
I think it's,
Yeah.
I nearly bought the burner phone, but I still needed to be connected to email and things like that. So
Yeah.
having that extra layer of friction. I've tried the old screen time thing. I just swiped rid
Oh,
of
I
that,
see
didn't-
Bryn do it daily. Ignore screen time. So I put mine on. What I do is I have it on all day, and then I have my little. And this is against what they should tell you. What, you know, who tells me what to do. Nobody tells me what to do. But I have it on. So when I have my lunch, I unbrick it. So then I spend 20 minutes catching up, and then I brick it again. Then sometimes I don't unbrick it again for the rest of the day. Or sometimes I then have another little catch up in the evening if I've got time. But honestly, it is the biggest time waster of life, isn't it? But I do love it because I love a puppy story.
Well, I love, like 25 scary shark attacks, whatever it is. 50
Oh God, we
epic
consume very
fails.
different. But also I find my algorithms sometimes send me down like a hole of like, why are you sending me? I have a lot of like food stuff and things and different, I just like noise I don't really like.
When I watch things on our joint Instagram fatigue and trails, I wonder if I'm being drawn into a certain type of content because we share that account.
Oh, I never go on that account, to be fair. I've occasionally go in and look on comments in case, or messages in case there's something for me. But if I look in the algorithm, I get scared of what you've been looking at, so I don't want to go in there.
Oh, that is such a terrible statement. I can't believe that accusation.
I'm like, I don't know what you might have typed in, so I don't want to be thrown under a bus. I'm just not going in there.
But what this is going to mean, we say this every week, if you really do want to get in touch with us, send an email in because...
Yeah, email is the best. I was exactly going to say that because so many lovely people have reached out about their own iron journey or something in Instagram. And I'm like, I see your Facebook and the message and then it's lost and then I can't find it. And then that's all excuses. But if you want to reply... There's both of us on that email inbox. And so we're pretty good at reading them and replying on that. Yeah, no, I love my brick. I've had it for a long time now. I'm really strict. We know we talked about this before, about my kids and their screen time usage. And sometimes they're like, Mum, you're so strict with us. You should see so-and-so's screen time. It's like 10 hours a day.
Wow. Okay,
stuff. And they're like, you get upset. We're only allowed an hour a day.
I always think, though, you should never judge yourself on other. It's like comparison is the thief of joy, isn't it? You don't think that you're okay just because somebody else is absolutely abusing their screen time.
If I go for a period of time without doing that to my phone, I find my phone creeping into my life a bit more. I just feel less involved in what's going on. It's too easy to pick it up when there's a quiet moment. When I've got so much to do, what am I doing?
Exactly. This is it. I'm so super busy.
So there's a time and a place for everything, though, isn't there? There is a time and a place.
It's a work in progress, but I'm pretty shocking at getting back to people anyway. So this is going to make it even worse, my response time. But yeah, I just needed to do something about it. So I'm glad to hear that it wasn't just something you did for 2 weeks and it's ended up in a draw. But yeah, I think a pretty good week. How about you?
Eddie needs a little talking to because she's been naughty. I've got to control myself, Gary, because I am feeling a little bit tired because I just love my training at the moment. Every session is a training session because I can't find the top of my zone 2, so I'm just keep going higher and higher, going, what should I do with all this oxygen, all this energy? I love the progress that we followed of like, when I found out that I didn't have any red blood cells, all the ones I did were very shriveled and very small. So I've only been on the iron almost 6 weeks now. I was very nervous about starting to do sessions, wasn't I? And I was like, I don't want to push. So I've just done it like really organically. Like last week, I was doing suddenly like, oh, I can train again.
You were up and about last week. It was great.
Yeah. And so now I'm training. Now I'm like, so I tried a little session, then I've tried another little session. And last week probably was the first time where I've done 2 sessions. Sort of forgotten that I probably is still really anemic, but I feel fine. I feel great. So I did our classic. I thought, what can I do? So at the moment, I warm up on the treadmill and I thought, what can I do once I get going? Let's just see where I'm at. So I did our apps and I felt I owed this to the listeners. 5544332211 classic on the treadmill. So I gave myself the cap of heart rate. The thing is, I don't have a cap on my heart rate at the moment because it's all changed because where I thought was like, oh, I can't breathe there. I'm now like cruising past that going, I'm still running really strong. I feel fine. And I was brave, Gary, because, we both hide behind uphill treadmill. And I thought, no, I'm going to just get a little feel of where I'm at on the flat with speed. And I'm not going to cry when I see how slow
Fun
and
times or
how-
sad times.
Fun times or sad times. Anyway, not often you give yourself a pat on the back, but I was like, I've got loads more and I'm ticking along at some good numbers here. So I was really super happy with that. I was sweating, Gary. I won't lie. I was sweating, but then I sweat, just talking to you. But I was in control all the time, felt really strong. I always feel if you can dance to your Spotify playlist when you're doing your 5-10 minute cool down at the end, if you can rock it, you're doing fine. Really happy with that. And then felt fine afterwards. So that's another sign as well, is that does that knock me out? And it didn't. My other session was a progressive uphill. That was at 10%, just playing around with speed. Because again, what I thought was my norm is like so not even like my warm-up pace now. So what I was doing, like my half hour, 45-minute uphill treadmills at this time, maybe just after Race Across Scotland or just before, I'm like, that is just not even like so slow now. I wouldn't even do that at a warm-up pace. So trying to find what is my new normal, but not overcook it. So I was playing around a bit with the pace, and I did definitely push it quite hard on that one, the adductors and the hammies and the glutes.
Are you super excited with the way things are going at the moment? Are you super excited for
crush you?
Yeah, race, whatever race it is, you must be super excited that the signs currently at least are really positive.
Just feel every day, I feel like my shoulders go down, just to love training again, to be able to do a session and to be able to push myself without feeling that someone has got a bag over my head and that I can't run fast anymore and I feel heavy and I feel slow, to now be able to go, I honestly feel like I'm back in my 20s a bit, and to be able to go attack, like things like 3-minute efforts. I remember I used to do like 10 by 3 minutes effort, used to be an Eddie classic, and I would get those 3 minutes like faster and faster and faster. I think I've not done that for so long, and now, I'm on the treadmill and I'm going push up, and just haven't had that push. So yeah, I love it. Whatever the racing, it's just so lovely to be back running. And I have had a lot of messages from people saying, I felt the same way. I've gone and had my blood tests. I'm anemic. It's really common. I tried to do a long run, but I ran out of time. So I did 2 longish runs for me. I did 10 miles on Saturday, and I felt sure I dragged. We took Taki on the first 3 miles, and she wasn't really having any of it. So we brought her back, and then Lindy and I did the rest of the run. It was quite hilly, but I did not feel good. I was like slogging around a bit after saying I felt so good training. Oh, Eddie, maybe you've overdone it.
Progressive uphill, was that Friday?
Yeah, probably it was, because I was stacking everything together. I was like, oh, I've overdone it, and I've gone back a step. And then Sunday, I did my sort of like longer loop. It's about 11.5 miles, and it's got a good bit of elevation up over the hills, and I felt great. So I was like, I think it was just tired legs, and I've not got that balance of like, I've got the fear, that bit of like, oh no, I've got back a step, but I think I just had tired legs and it's fine. So that is my longest run to date, is an 11. Every week I know I'm going to go, but then I get the fear that I'm going to do myself a pickle. But now I'm really back training again. I think I can push on to a bit more volume, and I've got some sort of long runs. Like we said, we've got maybe a recce coming up, and I've got some friends, and I've got some longer runs. So I think almost maybe I need to run with a friend, to just be like, not worry about the pace and just go out, and it will just tick off, and I'll be like, oh, I've done a 20-mile run and it was fine, and I didn't ruin myself. I'm sure lots of people feel like that have had something happen to them, maybe an injury or coming back and they're not sure. I remember coming back from having the kids as well. Like, the biggest barrier is always the long run. One, finding the time, but also going into the unknown. So I just need to bite the bullet and do it, and I'll be fine. I've been really focusing on my fueling, Gary. So I've been doing a lot more bike work, which is high intensity because I'm not sitting on my bike, spinning my legs. If I'm going on my bike, I'm racing the Germans and I'm getting a sweat on. Been doing a lot more high intensity, but I do think you can do a lot more high intensity on the bike because you haven't got that impact. Then I've added in some run sessions as well. I mean, my volume is not what it normally is, but it still is quite high. And we still haven't got to the bottom of the reason of why I got so anemic. And so one thing I've been really focusing on, I know I've talked about it, is my diet, but I am committing, Gary, to fueling everything. Because we've both had tummy troubles. We talk about training the gut, but when I'm honest with myself and when I think about it, I only really take fuel when I go on my long run, or if I'm going on like something medium long run. I didn't take anything on that Sunday for my medium long run because I was just out the door and the kids were blah, 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 and I just was like, I'm out of here.
Did you have some fuel with you?
I didn't have anything going. I was getting out that house quicker than the slot came, and I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I must be a very very good fat burner from my years and years and years of endurance sport, but it doesn't help me the next day. It doesn't help me recover. I need to keep on top of my foot. And I also really need to properly gut train. And I do think to properly gut train, you need to shove stuff down into your tummy a lot to learn how to take gels, how to use them. And I do want to use gels. I do want to use gels because there are points in one, you can't carry all your fuel. It becomes heavy. So you've got to get that weight gel right. Why am I not taking the gel? Why would I not take a gel before and a gel during when that is like your carb receptors are there? They are open for business and they want your carbs, and you're going to run better for having those carbs on board, and you're going to feel better afterwards. And loads of my athletes as well, when we do the sessions, and then it's always time to like perfection within the day, quick shower if there's time, and then bang into whatever else is coming. And then you might go like 2-3 hours. So you do not want to go into that underfueled. You're not going to do best, and you don't want to come out of it and then not fuel. So why am I not fueling those? I need to have a box of gels by my treadmill, which I've now got in a mouse-proof container. And I need to have my gels and so this is a good tip for anybody else, ready in a drawer by my trainers so that I pop one in my shorts. I need to make sure that anything I think I'm going to commit to this, Gary, and I don't often only run for half an hour. That's quite rare. So try and take a gel most runs, pre, during, post. But you're right to say that. It is really expensive to take gels, and we're lucky, but I have got a backload of gels because I've had quite a few races where I've gone in with all the gels and not taken them. So I have got a bucket load of gels. So again, that's not an excuse. I wanted to put it out there to go, how many of us who say, yeah, we do gut training, and I can't do a gel, or I can't, always get sick in races. So it's another experiment on Eddie to see, like, will this actually help if I just fuel. I don't know why, because I don't have any food anxiety about food. As you can tell. I love food. I eat when I'm hungry. I eat what I want. But there's a little bit of a barrier, and I don't know what it is, about putting more than perhaps I'm not hungry when I need it. So if you're doing a session, my body's not saying to me, I want fuel. In fact, it's probably going the opposite. But again, I think maybe that's training as well. Like, I need to, if I do start offering it more fuel, will it then be like, it knows it's coming? I don't know. There's a reason I've got so depleted and so low. Have I been like just very slowly not fueling enough? I don't like deprive myself of anything, but
I'm not a dietitian, but I would say yes.
Yeah. Do I just generally just go down a little bit of a like slowly? So new Eddie, and hopefully it might give other people a little bit of confidence as well to go, think about that fueling, put the fuel where you can quickly grab it. Don't feel that by spending money on gels, yes, it's expensive. And as you say, you can get like cheaper ones. You can make your own. You can use sweets. You can use whatever works for you by providing yourself that fuel. And you're not only gut training, but you're also supporting your health and supporting future you, that you're doing all these sessions. And if you're not fueling them properly, are we actually getting any fitter? Because are we slowly just degrading ourselves? So I'm really committing to that. So I thought I'd put it on the podcast, and then you can all say, Eddie, have you got gel on you? Other thing that I loved this week, Gary, was the Ironman World Championships, Women's World Championships in Kona. Yeah, that slipped past you. But there was drama, Gary. There was drama. It was only women, so they split it up. Last time they were doing this, they split. The men raced in Nice in September and the women raced in Kona this year. Now that's not happening again. They'll all race together again from now on. So it's a women's only race, which is fantastic. So all the coverage is on the women. The coverage is brilliant. I think it's better than the UTMB coverage of what they do. It is incredible. I listened to the daily podcasts that were going out. I got really invested in the race, and then the race starts Saturday night our time, and I had a really good friend doing it too, which kind of meant I was more invested in it as well. 2 girls at the front went off really hard. They biked against each other like titans. They were one was in the lead, then the other one was in the lead, then one got a penalty and one had to stop to get their nutrition, and it was all drama. I cannot explain to you what running a marathon, having already done 112 miles bike and a 2.5 mile swim. It's quite tiring anyway, but then you add in the humidity of a island in the sort of must be about lunchtime, I guess. These two girls, Lucy Charles Buckley, who's a British athlete, and Taylor Knibb, who's an American athlete, they had battled on the bike. They got into the transition to put their trainers on at the same time. I cannot tell you when you run out of that transition how hot it is. And because you've been on the bike as well, you've had the airflow often and the wind. You often don't realize how hot it is. And then you start the run. Anyway, these two girls, Gary, they're running at like 2-hour 45 marathon pace in this heat. And they go back and forth, back and forth. Lucy had about mile 18, and Lucy starts weaving across the road, basically gets heat exhaustion. There's nothing you can do. So like in Western states, you have a crew. So you stop, cool. You've got somebody like overseeing your welfare. You have got checkpoints on the triathlon. So I think they're about every 2K, if not closer. And you have water, ice, Coke, mordant. And you will go to bed hearing that because that's what they shout. Water, ice, Coke. Anyway, so they have this, but nobody's allowed to help you in any way apart from to hand you the stuff. So you've got to do all your...
help, couldn't they? But they're not going to.
Maybe.
That was all the thing with the Brownlee brothers, the assist.
Yeah. So I think that was a lot of learning. Anyway, Lucy started clear signs of heat stroke. And of course, you're watching this on television going, oh my God, this is horrendous. This is horrendous. And her husband goes down and does this. Stop. And he puts his hand up. So you've got thousands of pounds worth on the line of this race, biggest race. You've got 1 million people probably watching this. And he just goes down and says, stop. You need to stop. I was choked up because I was like, she would have carried on and just fallen over and possibly could have done something really terrible to herself. And he just gets hold of her in like this massive hug and is like, you need to stop. And you sort of see her like collapse into his arms as if to go,
give me tingles there, Eddie.
I know, thank God, because I think she knew I'm not stopping, so I'm just going to carry on. Horrendous. But there's been a lot of then chat on social media about what he did was incredible, of stepping in, the love of like going. And then he put this post out saying the most important thing is that I wake up and she's next to me in my bed and we've got a life together and her health. And I was like, even as a professional, this is your career. This is both of yours profession. So many people invested in this that to come out and say that is more important. I thought it was such a good lesson. Then the other girl, Gary, the story doesn't end there. She was 2 miles from the finish. They're getting all ready and she starts wobbling on the road as well. She starts wobbling on the road, ends up hitting the deck, and just has to stop. There's no intervention, which I think, like, we are so lucky as trail runners and ultra runners when you do the Northern Reverse, if you do something like the spine, if something happens to you, you are looked after and then you can go on your way. These girls, like, were racing until, and it's slightly scary, very scary, until their bodies collapsed and no intervention. And the girl, she didn't finish either. So then the girl that was running in third, amazing Norwegian girl, she won the race. But Taylor then came back and said, I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change the way that I raced. I didn't finish, no, but I would never change the way. And I thought, I loved that story as well, because I was like, sometimes I think there's a bit of there's shame in like not finishing races. I think if even professionals can stand up and say, look, I went in, I gave it my all, I gave everything I could. The dice didn't fall that day. My health is more important, but also I turned myself inside out.
Push yourself to the brink. It's amazing.
Push yourself to the brink. Anyway, I really enjoyed that. Would you, Gary? That was my last question. My very long catch up would be, would you go into a race to not finish, but to have an amazing race with somebody, but to put yourself into a hole and not finish? Or would you stay behind and watch the race unfold but then maybe get a podium place?
I'm not a racer, Eddie. I've said this a few times. My central governor system protects me. I don't think I've ever fully achieved what I could, so I'm pretty sure I'd have been the lady in third place and then took up the glory at the end. Yeah, I would have totally protected myself. I never do. Even cross country, every race I've done, I've always felt there's been a little bit in reserve.
I don't know. I think we could light that fire in you, Thwaites.
Thanks, Precision Fuel and Hydration, for supporting Brew the Coaches. Their website and newsletters are such a good source of knowledge, articles to read on YouTube and content to binge on too. On YouTube, you can learn how to fuel an ultramarathon, what pro runners carry on race day, and how to nail your marathon prep. Precision Fuel and Hydration helps athletes personalize their hydration and fueling strategies so they can perform at their best. They will help you know your numbers too. They have a handy free online sweat test and nutrition planner. Head over to www.precisionhydration.com and don't forget patrons can enjoy 20% off. But if you would like to try Precision Fuel and Hydration for the first time, then you are in luck. Use the code TEATIME2025 for 15% off your first order. You said the other week you just wanted to see what a gel tasted like. So I was back on the Sports Fuel Sunday and also this week too.
Good.
Classic 30-gram gel plus drink mix that helped fuel my Sunday cross country. You can't beat the taste of a gel with the scent of a few hundred men smothered in deep heat.
What I'm trying to practice taking my gels is squirting it into my mouth so it doesn't hit my tongue. So that I'm going to try so that you don't get such taste fatigue. Because I'm like, if I don't taste them.
This was David Roach, wasn't he? I'm sure he said he bypassed his mouth. He just went straight down. Something like that. But yeah, great idea.
It's not food. It's just, I'm like trying to re-educate my brain because obviously my brain is in trauma over gels. Try and re-educate my brain to go, this is delicious. This is good. This is good stuff, Eddie. Take it. Enjoy it.
Who'd have thought, the very first time we laced up our shoes for a trail run would be managing how to take a gel down. Fun times.
The best times. I'm trying to say to if the gel goes in, it means good times are coming.
Yeah.
Can I have that on a mug, please?
This week's Brew the Coaches question comes from listener Matt Coates. I'm training for, dare I say it, a road marathon, Marathon Ariri. Well, that definitely is not going to be flat. Has anyone got the date, Eddie? What are we looking at for that one?
We're looking at almost 1,000 metres of climbing. And it says the profile's equivalent to 30 miles worth of running. I bet you feel more like that. So you've got both the ups and the downs to cope with.
Tuesday legs, my goodness me. My first proper marathon, and I'm not really a very experienced runner.
Oh, you've chosen a nice easy one then. Good choice.
Anyway, I get that I'm supposed to fuel my training runs with carbs, so I'm taking a few gels and using the Precision Fuel and Hydration chews. I'm only up to 8 miles at the moment, but afterwards I'm absolutely exhausted and have no energy for the rest of the day. What's confusing is I think I'm meant to use protein to recover. My question is why? Should I be smashing just protein down afterwards or carbs as well? Why am I so tired after what is relatively a short run in comparison to what's coming up? If it helps, I'm 53 and quite active, but kind of a fat, kind of fit, but definitely a back of the pack. Slow as F runner. Have you any suggestions for me, please? Any help for fueling and recovery will be very much appreciated. On a side note, please try and get Gary to pronounce sauna correctly. Hearing him say sauna is giving me the ick. Well, I've got some knowledge for you.
Oh, here we go. You're going to school him now.
The ancient origins in Northern Europe, particularly Finland, for the word sauna, with the earliest version dating back to around the Stone Age, around 7,000 BC. She's supposed to pronounce all of the letters, so it is sauna. We've got some Finnish listeners, so yeah, please email in and correct me. I went onto YouTube, so we say sauna, and the Americans go sauna, and the Finns will go sauna.
Sauna. I like that.
I find these questions super tough because you get the question, a little bit of a backstory, but there's so much information.
So much that's not being said between the lines, just like all good relationships.
The speed of the run, which I'd hands up, I've been guilty, especially in my early days of running, that everything would be too fast. I'm not saying that's what Matt's doing. What's his sleep like, his general nutrition and hydration? All of that said, it is exciting times for Matt. First proper road marathon. Maybe a trip to the doctors too. It's quite common on the Teen Trails podcast at the moment. Could be low in iron. That could be something possibly going on there. Anyway, Jason, any tips for Matt?
Like you say, there's a lot of there's probably more questions than answers to that. I'll try and stick to the question of protein. Why is protein important? Should you be having it after your training sessions, or should you just keep banging down the carbs? Just understanding what protein does, I think, is really helpful. We hear a lot about it bodybuilding, but in endurance sports, it's less of a talked about subject. Understanding carbohydrates and fat, to use a fairly common analogy, carbohydrates would be you kindling if you were to make a fire. There would be your kindling, your fast burn materials, and fat would be your slower burn material like coal. You can put a piece of coal on a fire and it takes a long while to burn through it. However, you always need a little bit of kindling or fire to get the use out of that coal as well. So that's where your carbohydrates are really useful, and you still need to keep those coming in when you're training or you're doing anything. Protein fits into that. It's less of a fuel source, but it's more of a structural material. So that might be something you make a shelter out of, or your actual fire or stove is made from. Protein are the building blocks to your body, whereas carbohydrate and fat are your fuel sources. If you wanted to use protein for fuel, it would mean trying to use metal or trying to set fire to metal. You'd have to get it to such a high temperature. You'd be burning through a lot of carbohydrate and fat first. But protein is really, really useful at rebuilding muscles, broken down muscle tissue and fiber in your body. So you need the protein to repair everything. So when you're training, you are breaking down muscle tissue and muscle fibers. So the protein is really important to help with that rebuild. Likewise, if you break bones or your immune system or something like that is compromised, it uses protein to help repair that. The really clever thing with your body is that if you aren't giving your body protein by eating it, it'll actually break down muscle somewhere else in your body to then reuse it somewhere else as well. So as a little side note, I guess, when I was in hospital after my accident, before I went in, I was the fittest I've ever been. My legs were great.
Jacked is what you're looking for.
And like within 2 weeks, my legs just disappeared. They were tiny. My calves were tiny. And it wasn't purely just muscle atrophy from not using them. It was my body going, I need protein from somewhere to repair all the stuff that's broken. And it just went to that, in effect, larder and took everything out. It comes back very quickly, as I found out, much to Rory's advice of eating burgers and lots of protein. So protein's a really important part of that repair process. And we tend to kind of overlook it or misunderstand its uses.
Would you just though, because I've read like marathon training books years ago, and there was like ratios of how much protein and carbohydrate for different body sizes should be, and that just sends me down a rabbit hole that I don't want to go to. So currently I've maybe come back from a run and I might have, say, scrambled eggs on toast, cottage cheese, something like that. Something, I could weigh it out, do everything like that, but really I haven't got the energy for that. But would that be something, maybe some advice for Matt, that just make yourself a tuna sandwich if you eat fish?
There's a couple of rules of thumb that you can look at. One is the ratio of carbs to protein after you've been training. Generally, 3 or 4 grams of carbohydrate to 1 gram of protein is good, because you still need the carbohydrate to replace the glycogen you've used as well. Unfortunately, that doesn't really fall within, if you look at a lot of protein recovery shakes and stuff like that, the ratio is not the same. It might be 1-1 or 2-1. So it's quite difficult to just take that off the shelf solution. So you might have to make that up by adding carbohydrate to your recovery shake, in addition to that, frozen fruits, juice, that kind of stuff. So you can still do it. Keep that in mind as far as like an immediate action to take after your training. But then there's the general nutrition and fueling through the day, through the week. A lot of the time people maybe don't have enough protein in their diet anyway. If you weren't doing any exercise or training, I think the base amount is 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. So if your body weight was 100 kilograms, you would have 80 grams of protein per day. But that's not doing anything. So then when you start adding exercise and training in, you should consider between 1 and 1.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And it's not that you necessarily need to work that out every single day for 365 days or whatever. It's a useful exercise to do it for a week or 10 days. And just sort of monitor and see, am I somewhere within that range? Because if you're not, what tends to happen is your body will then start to break muscle down somewhere else in your body to get the protein. You will also feel quite tired, and chances are you'll get sore muscles as well. So it's well worth making sure you're actually eating enough protein, just your day-to-day nutrition. and making sure it's complete protein as well. So if you aren't eating meat, then making sure you're getting a variety of protein from different sources as well.
I would like short term keep a food diary, so I knew that a certain meal would, and I would never be to the exact gram, but I just had a kind of rough guideline just so I knew I was getting roughly what I needed.
You can't go wrong with a cup of milk. You can't go wrong. It's got your carbs, it's got your protein. So Matt, if you're just starting off on your journey and like, this is a lot, you can't go wrong with a cup of milk. I would also just check not just your post-run fueling if you're feeling super tired afterwards, but you're fueling during your run, your day-to-day fueling as well, as Jason mentioned. But it's very easy to actually think you're fueling runs and you're not fueling them as nearly as much as you are. So just checking as well as you're building up the miles that you are taking on like minimum 60 grams of carbs. If you're new to sport as well, us old codgers, we've been doing this endurance game for years. So we are extraordinary fat burners. Our bodies know exactly what they're doing, and we could probably run hours and hours and hours with limited fuel because our bodies are so well trained. If you're new to running and just getting into it, your body is still learning how to fuel, how to process the fuel. It doesn't know the signs of like, I'm running now, how do I use this fuel? It's all learning as well. This is all good. You're asking all these questions, Matt. So don't be like, if you go, oh, I'm so tired after, this is all new. So your body is going into like a little bit of shock of going, oh gosh. So just make sure you're supporting it with the running, with the rest, making sure you're not running everything too fast. But also, this is part of the process as well, like a bit of sore legs and a bit of tiredness is perfectly normal. And as you said, you never run that far before. So you're not going to finish the run and go, my God, I feel amazing. That journey will come and you will suddenly find you can do 8 miles and it feels relatively comfortable. But it takes a lot of work as well. But the fuel is the absolute key to supporting this journey and not getting injured. So I think you're asking all the right questions. I'm trying to think of any good fueling books. I mean, Rinny McGregor's got a couple of great books out.
There's a really good book that I got when I first started doing this called Feed Zone Portables.
Feed Zone Portables. That is a great one.
It's actually, I think it's more of like a recipe book and again, it's cycling based, but it's about making real food, rice cakes and stuff like that, what things you can make that are portable. But the first 2 chapters in that book go into how our body uses all the different fuel sources. You know, if you like the numbers, there's charts and numbers and stuff like that to show you based on how fast you're running, what ratio of carbs and fat you're going to burn. But it actually just goes through really good explanations of hydration, electrolytes and fueling as well. I still refer back to that book. It's great. And
any books like this or any education as well, never be scared. Like, you will often read it and go, that went over I have no idea what I just read. You read it again, it still might not have any idea, but something will stick. And so with all this like process of learning as well, is like there's so much information out there. Don't expect like by reading it you'll be like, I get it. You might just pick a little nugget out and just remember that and then come back to that book. And like as Jason said, he probably reads it again and learns every time he reads it. Matt, you must be almost on taper time for that.
Depending on when this goes out, you might have done it already.
We might have done it. Let us know
Let us
how you
know,
get
Matt.
on. Fingers crossed.
Good luck.
And eat your steak straight afterwards. Thanks, Harrier Trail Running, for sponsoring our Strava Club and the Tales from the Trails section. Harrier is the UK's fastest growing brand for trail runners, providing specialist kit designed for superior fit, comfort and function with the best customer support. Check them out for race vests, waterproofs, poles and other trail essentials. Oh, did you see you're going to be allowed to use poles at Western States?
Ooh,
Harrier, get yourself out there to other trail essentials at www.harrierrunfree.co.uk. You can also download their free copy of How to Run an Ultra Guide. Use T10 for 10% off site-wide, or check out their brilliant trail bundles for a special 20% off. We're looking forward to our Exmoor. What have we got being sent to us? What has been sent?
We have got the Exmoor Pro jacket. I've sent yours out. That's what the postie collected today.
It's their most technical jacket yet. Full waterproof protection, roll-away hood, wrap-snap waiststow, ventilation popper, thumb loops, and fully taped seams. I don't want to pray for rain yet, though, Gary, because we are enjoying, as you said, this beautiful autumn. But no doubt, I have seen some rain on the forecast.
Also, there is the Exmoor 2.5 layer waterproof jacket built for runners who keep moving, whatever the weather. Weighing in at just 236 grams, this lightweight waterproof jacket for running delivers serious protection without slowing you down. Perfect for long training sessions, mountain trails, and ultra distance races. Both of those jackets will sail through kit check for, I think, pretty much any UK trail race ultra that I've been on. Happy to be proved wrong. You might be able to correct me here, Eddie. I can't find, so the Pro jacket, that is a 3-layer system. And with that level of breathability, I can't find a jacket that can compete with the Exmoor Pro on price. And don't forget, if you use the code T10, you will get 10% off your order at www.harrierrunfree.co.uk. We've got an international Strava Club. First up is Edmar Vallenhoss, 73.5 miles for the week with the longest run of 73.5 miles and 2,953 feet of vert. Edmar is following along in Brazil. Hola, Edmar.
Hola. Have you been doing your Duolingo?
Well, Edmar's been racing the Santa Isabel Aparecida. Strava highlighted, wow, this is a good run. 50k, 30k and a marathon PB as part of that run. Also, Edmar, you've got incredible facial hair. Kudos.
Dirty dog, Gary.
Next up is Matt Egner, 63.1 miles for the week with the longest run of 12 miles and 2,339 feet of vert. Request to follow Matt, so I don't know what you've been up to, but either way, I hope you had a great week. Last up is Caroline Duncan, 64.7 miles for the week, 52.4 mile long run and 13,077 feet of vert. It's a request to follow. But yeah, Caroline's been on the lakes in a day. Kudos.
We should give Anna Llewellyn a big shout out. Did you see she broke the course record?
Rapido.
She won the race overall. Absolutely smashed that. Incredible.
We should reach out. She'd be a great guest.
She'd be a great guest. Why have we not reached out? Slacking just on Instagram.
Got a public service announcement.
Where are you going to be? Where should people move away from?
I saw a post on the Hard Mowers Facebook group. This year's Hard Wolves 80 is going to be the last. So if you fancy a challenge this year, then check it out. You might never, ever get a chance to run it again. And also I noticed Northern Traverse is 85% full. So if you want to jump on the fun times or the struggle bus with Eddie
beep, beep,
and
all
me.
aboard. I'm never having a gel again. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, check it out. All the links for everything, to be honest, are either in the show notes or over at www.tandtrails.com. Heavy flex. Hi, Gary and Eddie. This email is potentially a little different to your usual emails. I'd really appreciate a shout out to my partner Dan and his best friend Nathan, who are taking on the Saddles and Summits Challenge in October this year. They have both taken on many endurance events over the years, but this is by far the biggest yet. Cycling from John O'Groats to Land's End with a twist. They've extended the route to go via Ben Nevis, Scarfell Pike and Snowdon so they can climb these along the way. Absolutely incredible. The whole challenge is over 1,100 miles and they will be completing it in 10 days from the 5th to the 15th of October. So that is today. And not only that, they are completing this challenge to raise vital funds for the RNLI, the charity that saves lives at sea. My partner has been a volunteer crew member since he was 18 and he is now 35. It's a huge part of his life, from the pager going off in the middle of the night, twice a week training exercises to arranging fundraising events. The RNLI is an amazing charity, and if you are someone who enjoys the beach and sea, you never know if you may need them one day. Anyone can drown, no one should. Thank you, Jodie Parsons. We do it all the time. Brew the coaches, shout outs, heavy flexes. We are always 5 minutes late. I was late for a wedding once.
What, was the bride already in the church?
They were both there at the altar. He scurried in.
Did you come in just as they said, does anyone have any reason for this?
Yeah, I did. I've never lived that down, unfortunately. Yeah, as we record, Dan and Nathan, it's going to be their last day, and I've checked over on the tracker. They are closing in. It's incredible effort, guys, and hopefully raising a ton of cash along the way too. We'll pop a link in the show notes if anybody would like to make a donation. If you have a mate who has flexed or orbited the sun one more time, then email hello@tntrails.com. You need to pop heavy flex or birthday shout out as the subject. Tales from the Trails.
I should just point out before I start reading this that this does have a story of baby loss. So if there's something that perhaps you don't want to hear, you might just want to scroll on for a couple of minutes. Dear Eddie and Gary, I'm writing to thank you. I'm not sure this is really a tale from the trail or a review, and I know it could be triggering for others, but I wanted to reach out to you directly to tell you how much you've helped me. Almost exactly 12 months ago, I was sitting in a waiting room waiting for a scan to get a first glimpse of a much longed for second baby. 15 minutes later, I was back in the waiting room clutching leaflets about ectopic pregnancy and being asked to choose between medical and surgical management. I opted for medical, with one of the main side effects being that I had to avoid conceiving for at least 3 months after treatment. For someone who had been living month to month in the hope of pregnancy, 3 months felt like a lifetime. I have an active job but had hardly exercised in years, and on a bit of a whim signed up for a local 50k at the end of the 3 months, hoping to give myself something else to focus on. I had no idea what I was doing, but found your podcast via a Facebook group and thought I'd give it a whirl. I was immediately hooked, and you kept me company through my training with the luxury of the back catalogue to fill the gaps between episodes, and I completed the 50k last September. I loved the adventure and immediately signed up to 100k for this year. Not long after the 50k, I suffered another ectopic, this one requiring surgery. This time I had so much more resilience, knowing that this whole world of running adventures would be out there for me before or after, with or without another child. The hope I've taken from listening to you, and particularly the guests you've had on who found running later in life and are still taking on amazing challenges into their 50s, 60s and beyond, is so powerful. I feel like I still have so much time, even if I'm currently battling the small child years and nowhere near as fit or strong as I want to be. But I've made a start. So on to this year. Just over a year since my first ectopic, I took on Race to the Stones 100k. Oh, it was a hot day. Yeah, it was toasty 33 degrees, but I tried to take on board everything I'd learnt from listening to you and focused on controlling my effort and keeping my fueling and hydration on tap. At last 20k in, I tripped on a tree root and landed awkwardly. My right knee was not happy, but I was still able to run. At around 32k, I found my husband and son waiting for me with a Calippo and sat down for 5 minutes to cool off. When I got up again, I tried to jog away, but my knee said no. Unfazed, I set off at a fast walk, which seemed to keep it happy. I was determined to finish, even if it was a very long walk. And so it was that I came to be all alone in the dark on the latter part of the course, listening to the last few episodes of the Tea and Twirls, which I'd been saving up to see me through the inevitable low points. And even better, I had the live podcast recording to listen to. It was all fantastic, but the moment that made it for me was Lawrence's blessing. I was marching along the ridgeway in the pitch black, crying and shouting together at the top of my voice. I replayed it 3 times. I must have looked and sounded ridiculous, but lucky there was no one there to see or hopefully hear me. I was overwhelmed with gratitude for my family, my health, and for you both in helping to create this moment, and told myself there and then that should I make it, I would tell you so. I would never have got this far in my running journey without the pod, from training tips, laughter, and sometimes tears with you, and sheer inspiration for what could be possible. So thank you, truly. I made it to the end, eventually. My march had slowed to a hobble, and the incredible Rhino boy Chris had almost caught me up. That's nothing to be ashamed of. He's incredible. But it's really only the beginning for me. The quest to complete our family continues, but somehow weighs a little lighter on me now. And meanwhile, I have other adventures to plan too. With my heartfelt thanks and best wishes, Sophie. Oh, Sophie, we could not send you enough love, so I'll send a big Gary smooch right at you. Love that journey that you've that running has helped you so much through some really, really tough times, and you will be in the Tea and Trails Towers thoughts definitely all the time. Keep us posted on your adventures. We love your tales from the trails. Keep them coming. Email hello@teaandtrails.com and put Tales from the Trails as the subject.
Thank you, Protein Rebel, for bringing us home. Gentle on your stomach, driving your performance. Whether you're trying to get a PB, training for your first marathon, breaking world records dressed as a rhino, or completing your 10th ultra, Protein Rebel's products are easy to digest with no artificial additives, providing both performance and overall health benefits. Shout out to the Run Easy Marine Collagen. Definitely my most used supplement. I did say on Facebook actually during the week, there was a comment. What was?
Yeah, that was a good thread, wasn't it?
And I'd say without a doubt, I'm a bit loosey-goosey on the protein.
I'm a protein addict.
Well, I'm trying to be more mindful with the protein, but yeah, I think that does slip occasionally. Magnesium, I do forget from time to time, but if I forget my Run Easy Marine Collagen,
Can't get up.
yeah.
That Zimmer fame's a long way away.
Well, daily marine collagen is designed for runners of all distances. Give your knees, ankles, hips, and tendons a break. You can train harder, recover faster, and stay injury free. Trusted by runners of all distances, and it mixes easily, dissolves in coffee, shakes, and water. Use the code T15 for 15% off your first order over at www.proteinrebel.com. Patrons can enjoy 15% off every order. And as usual, you need to pop over to Patreon for that discount code. This is from Blythe Davis. Favourite and least mountains in the world that you've run, walked or climbed? And the next question is top 3 sub-ultra distance UK races. Well, I always say it, I'm not a fan of filthy Fairfield. That is probably, if I had to like rapid answer something, Fairfield would spring to mind. My favourite, anything on leg 4 of the Bob Graham round, from Yew Barrow to Great Gable, it's pretty stunning round there. And if somebody wants a kind of like a quick walk, you could park at Honister Pass, do the sharp mile up to Dalehead, and if you've got a clear day, you'll be hard pushed to find a better bang for your buck's view than Dalehead out over the valley. When we were backpacking, Lisa and I, we spent some time in Malaysia and we hiked around the Cameron Highlands, which is up in altitude. You've got jungle and tea plantations. Absolutely incredible. We also did some hiking in the Rockies in Canada. I cannot remember what any of the peaks were, but that was, oh my goodness me, that was epic. Huge fan of the London Marathon. That is my favourite tarmac race. Super soft spot for the Hard Moves Trail Marathon Series 2. You know, they're awesome, and that's where this whole kind of trail journey started for me. And a great day out. Yeah, you won't go wrong with the Swaledale Marathon too. Awesome day. What about yourself?
I've got nothing. I've got nothing to give here, Gary. I haven't been anywhere.
You used to live in Morzine, not mountains everywhere.
Yeah, I love all the Alps. Loved all the mountains around. I do love the Alps. But to be honest, I'm not as well travelled as you either, am I? So it's not so excited. I tell you one in Scotland that I really hate, and that's Schiehallion. Even though it holds a very special place in my heart, you get to what you think is the top and it's got this false summit and it's just rocks. It's just basically a false summit of about, I think it's a mile. My kids think it's about 10 miles worth of rocks until you get to the actual top of the Munro. There's no joy in it. And it's a bit of a gradient. And so it's horrible to walk across, especially when you've got 2 dogs on the lead. They're going to go. Do love that mountain though. And top 3. I don't think I can think of 3 sub-ultra distance UK races. I would say if you did one of the LDWA races.
Sensational.
You can't go wrong with those, can you? All sorts of distances. Who knows what distances? It's not about the distances. It's about the checkpoints. That's all.
Do you count a 50k as an ultra? I do, personally.
Oh my God, yeah. I was kind of thinking maybe Blythe, he was kind of thinking like, what can I do that isn't like a lower level? I did the Buell 15 miler. That was a good one as well down south. We used to regularly do that as part of our club. I don't think you can go wrong with like a trail 10k. Like if you can find a trail 10k which has got some elevation in as well, so you can almost use it as a bit of a tempo.
But the hard movers, you do have the trail marathon. Yeah, I'll focus on the trail marathons, but they've got a half and a 10k that goes off at the same time too. What's coming up?
I want the world to know. God, I think I'm going to die of heat exhaustion today in Scotland in October. The sun has been. We're recording this in the afternoon, which is very rare for us. And I'm slowly sliding off my chair now, Gary. It's half term, Gary. It's half term. It's come around so quickly. Surely it was just the summer holidays. But my kids are on their knees. They are so tired. Their term time, when you add in the sport mix, is full on. They are never at home, and I am always in the car, then taxi, snack provider and taxi. So they're ready for a little bit of a break. So I did that sort of flattish workout this week. So I'm going to do a big uphill one to keep working on those butt cheeks. Try a longer run. I'll beat myself up about it. It'll come when it'll come. I've written Goose here. I was like, who's Goose? And I was like, oh gosh. Lucy and I are going to try and meet for a weekly bike smashing on Zwift. I've never done that. You know, you can make a meetup and meet a mate, and then you can put a so you can ride together. So you just ride together, but you can ride at different paces. And so we're going to do a workout together. I I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm just really looking forward to half term, bit of downtime. And I've got people invested in this. I don't know, but I'm going to have my bloods tested. So this time next week, scores will be on the doors. Shall I share the scores? Because I don't think I shared my terrible scores before. So maybe I will share the scores before.
Your scores don't have to be our content, Eddie.
No, but well, it's more just I talk enough. People are bored. And they're like, God, Eddie needs to share our urine samples next. There's only so much iron that you can absorb. So I'm only going to have gone up like a wee bit. So I'm excited. Is there anyone else ever been excited to have a blood test and see the results? I'm super excited about it. I almost need a race or something to stop me. I need to work out my plan, Gary, because this could be a dangerous game to play of when I'm just like, I did another session. What about you? You're racing again. Animal.
I can't say no. Ray's dangled the carrot in front of me. And it's the first running of the Trail Outlaws Wooler half marathon. So he's going up. He just asked me if I fancy going up. So yeah, couldn't say no. 30 miles, just under 3,000 feet. And it's all in the dark. It might be like something like 2,600, but it's quite significant. Again, I fancy getting my blood flowing. I looked at my Lake 100 times and the first 13 miles was about 2.5 hours-ish, if I've done the maths correct. So I'll be hoping to go under that. The weather looks good. So it's a toss-up between the Ultra Mont Blanc Speed Carbon and the Terex Speed Ultra.
Go the Speed
Well, I could come
Ultras.
back with a smoking fast time or a broken angle.
Both great content.
And I'll be chasing the ball, Eddie, with my short shorts on.
Right, it's enough. We've got things to do. Oh, the sun's finally set our mouth. Thanks for tuning in. We love you for listening. Share the episode, share the pod. Can you just go, whatever you're doing now, just stop, stand still, take a breath, ask for a moment. And can you just go into where you listen to your podcasts and press 5 stars. 5 stars. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. Don't bother with that.
Even better, go and pick up somebody else's phone and subscribe them to the Teen Trails
Anybody.
podcast.
Granny.
That's your mission.
No, they might not have Spotify. Just download it. That's
What a great idea. Just download the iTunes app or Spotify app, subscribe them to the Teen Trails, ask them to download every back episode. They'd never know.
Thank you, Granny June. Thank you. Mel, you always go around to Kath's for tea. I see that on Instagram. Does Kath listen? Make sure she does. Does Len, who drops off the Tesco order, does he listen? Just grab his phone, Spotify on there, just download it.
Excellent.
That's all we need. You listened to when I started saying that, you were looking at me like thinking, because I was giving you serious instructions, you were like, oh God, what does she need me to do? She's left us to the last minute. Thank you to X Miles Precision Fuel and Hydration, Phoenix Light UK, Harrier Trail Running and Protein Rebel. They're always listening. Sponsoring this week's show, remember our discount codes T10 2025 for Shocks, T15 for Protein Rebel, T-Time 2025 for Precision Fuel and Hydration, and T10 for Harrier Trail Running. Thank you to our partners and patrons too. We couldn't do this without you or your ongoing support.
Good luck to everybody out on the trails, racing, training, recceing, solo miles or miles.
So many
with
races.
mates.
My phone has been red hot this week with pre-race calls for my athletes.
Well, I've seen
exciting.
Punk Panther, they're hosting the Days Dazzler, 3 Zs, and Centurion Running host the Smoking Fast Autumn 100. I've got a mate, he's doing the Autumn 100.
Have you? Is he fast?
He's faster than me cross country. Yeah. He was one of the Lake 100 team. Phil. So good luck, Phil.
Oh, Phil's doing it. Good luck, Phil.
And say hello if you see me up at Wooler. Good luck to everybody, apart from the other V50 men, of course. Let the trails or the tarmac rise to meet you, and the wind always be on your back. Be kind to your future self. Breathe and believe. Don't think, just swallow and roll with the joy, and the miles will look after themselves. My name is Gary Thwaites.
And I'm Eddie Sutton.
And that was the Tea and Trails podcast.
Just in time, because do you know what I can hear? One of my favourite sounds? The kettle boiling.